I always tell people that about working out. Like, fuck your motivation. Fuck your motivation. You need discipline. Because motivation's not there every day. I'm missing motivation most days.
Wow,
Some
really?
days, yeah, sometimes I got motivation. Sometimes I'm like, fuck yeah, today I felt good. I can't wait to get to the gym. But a lot of days, like, gotta get to the gym. And then once I get going, then I feel great.
Yeah.
And I feel great when it's over. But it's that beginning part that's hard because your body wants to stay comfortable.
So is that really true what Joe Rogan was saying in that video? Let me tell you the story of my colleague, Matthew. Now Matthew, who is currently in his 30s, wants to run half marathon. Now half marathon is actually of 21 kilometers. Matthew has never run in his life. One day, Matthew goes to his neighbor John's house party. Now John, on the other hand, is a bit fit person and he has already completed half marathon 3 months back. So John was explaining his story of how he completed half marathon, and John is relatively fit than Matthew. Now after listening to John in there, Matthew gets charged up and then he immediately goes back. He sets an alarm for 6 a.m. in the morning for next day, goes to bed at 10:30. Now he wakes up at 6 next day, prepares for the run, goes for the run, done 2 kilometers of run, came back, and now Matthew is tremendously happy. Next day, Matthew again tried to get up at 6 a.m. but then he snoozes his alarm by 5 minutes. But he still gets up. He still goes for the run and he completes his run. Again next day, he snoozes his alarm twice. Next day, thrice. And the cycle continues. I met Matthew after a month from that day and I could see that Matthew is still in the same shape. He hasn't run for last 2 weeks as he has been saying, and ultimately Matthew started telling me, "Oh Ram, it is so impossible to stay motivated all the time. How can I achieve my fitness goals?" Are you guys facing the same issues when you try to set up a fitness goal and try to achieve it? Then this video will significantly help you to achieve your goals. The 5-step formula that I use for myself is something that I'm going to share in today's video, which should also help you guys to achieve your fitness goals. So without any further delay, let's get started. Now here are those 5 steps which has helped me in achieving my fitness goals. Step number 1 is start with why. Now motivations are typically of 2 types, intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Now, what is the meaning of these two? So intrinsic motivation, which means something comes within you or from within you. Extrinsic motivation is something that comes from outside or from social status. Now in case of Matthew, when he saw his neighbor John, he got really charged up to do the running. That is something extrinsic motivation, although he did not have any solid intrinsic motivation to go for the run. And that's why your why to do a specific activity is really important. Let me give my example over here. So currently I'm preparing for High Rocks. Now High Rocks, when I started reading about it, is basically a term that came from hybrid athlete. Now what is the meaning of hybrid athlete? So hybrid athlete is someone who is good at both strength and endurance. I have been training strength for my whole life and in my whole 20s. And I realize now is that this is the step to move towards something like combination of strength and endurance. And that's why being a hybrid athlete came to be a right or a suitable step at this point of time. Now to stay consistent with the progress, I also felt that I should also include a fitness competition in that field. And High Rocks came out to be a savior for me, because High Rocks is totally what I wanted at that point of time. That's how I can compete and also keep track on my progress. Now next step is to set the goal. I have already talked about setting the SMART goals in my previous videos, where SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and time bound. If you have not watched that one, please do watch routine video. Now in case of fitness, keeping a realistic goal is the most important thing. Now in case of Matthew, if I say, he who has never run in his life decided that he is going to go for a half marathon straight. And that sometimes become really ambitious and unrealistic goal. While if I would have to suggest him, he should have gone for a 5-kilometer race or a 10-kilometer race first and then would have gone for a half marathon. But let's say Matthew also had a lot of time and he did not have any other race in between, say he had a 6 months of time. Then still, in case of Matthew, I would suggest him to set weekly goals or monthly goals of, let's say, 5 km or 10 km achievement, so that he would be able to achieve those goals and also progress towards his bigger goal of half marathon. Now, step number 3 is building a system. Here, to understand that, I want to quote a specific line from my favorite book called Atomic Habits, where James Clear says that you do not rise to the standard of your goals, but rather you fall to the standards of your system. I have already made a video on Atomic Habits, so if you have not watched it, I would really recommend to go and watch that one. Now, what is the meaning of building a system? So, building a system means understanding how much effort is it going to take to achieve that goal. Let's say Matthew wants to complete half marathon in 6 months. Now, in his case, what he can do is that he will have to determine that how many kilometers does he has to run every week or every month, so that he can be able to achieve that goal in 6 months. Now, to build a system, it has become relatively easy nowadays with the free access of a lot of training videos on YouTube, and I would say one of the biggest game changer is AI, where you can go to ChatGPT and you can ask ChatGPT to create a plan for you to run a half marathon in 6 months, and it will give you. So there is also no need of a coach. So instead of saying, I want to complete half marathon in February 2026, you can say that I'm going to run 5 kilometers twice in a week every morning. Step number 4 is staying consistent. And here I would like to quote again the line from one of my idol, Cristiano Ronaldo. So what he says is that the key to success is being consistent. Now, how can you be consistent? So I usually have 3 steps through which I always try to stay consistent. Firstly, I decide the time at which I'm going to perform my longer or bigger workout. For example, in my case, since I always start working at 8 a.m. early in the morning, so I cannot do a workout before that. So I always keep my workouts after work in the evening. Step number 2 is always track your progress. So how can you track your progress? You can use different apps or different devices. For example, in my case, I always use my Garmin smartwatch, and also I have one more app in my mobile, which is Strava, where I log my running or workout efforts, and I always watch them or look at them progressively or retrospectively. Now, step number 3 is you need to stay flexible. Now, what is the meaning of being flexible? Is that if any urgent task comes up on a specific day where you have to perform a certain workout, then you have to adjust the time of a workout. But rather than skipping it completely, you still should do it. And that's how I follow in my daily routine. Now, step number 5 is long-term sustainability. Now you would ask, like, why do you need long-term sustainability? Rather, I would ask you guys one question, is that what will happen when you have achieved your goals? You will have nothing to do, right? So in that case, I want to say that instead of making fitness as an achievement of that temporary goal, make fitness a lifestyle choice. Because once you've achieved a specific goal, you can keep a next or a new goal after that, where you can be able to stay consistent and make fitness as your lifestyle choice. Or sometimes, even without goals, you can still put in the same volume of work by trying to stay fit. While doing all these things, you also need to keep in mind one important thing, which is rest and recovery. Because what is going to happen as you progress in your age from 20s to your 30s to your 40s, rest and recovery will become your primary need. And that's it from today's video. In conclusion, I would like to summarize all 5 steps that we talked about. So we talked about step number 1, which is start with why. Step number 2 is to set the goals. Step number 3 is to build a support system. Step number 4 is to stay consistent. And step number 5 is to have a long-term sustainability. Please let me know in the comment box which step is missing from your fitness routine today. And please hit the like button if you like the information that I've shared in today's video. Please also hit the subscribe button if you're not done so, to get an update about the latest videos on my channel. Thank you so much for today. I will see you in the next video. Until then, stay fit and live a fulfilling life. Thank you.